Okay, right. Yeah, this is Underdogs Verified, ne? So, Mbali, I'm finishing professional, but okay, first question in I for you is, does it get tiring being beautiful?
Oh wow! No, it never gets tiring.
Yeah.
It never gets tiring. We embrace it.
Yeah. Okay, so Mbali is here today, right? So there's like a number of people asking themselves, well, why am I calling you Mbali and things like that, yeah. But now you don't have to give compliments, you understand? And today we just have to say thank you for coming, yeah. And the fact that I won hey, does she or he deserve a 5-star medal or what?
It's a he.
It's a he.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
I look like my dad, but not to say Mama Bamhlanga, but like I look like my father. So I mean, it says a lot.
Okay, cool. So let's just start more like let's get into it. I'm not gonna speak closer of it. Otherwise, the same way we're gonna find out siyabulela lengiso lokho kuxoxeza lo. Siyabulela ngalomntana. Yo, and so that's the introduction yami ndidizi umbali bafowethu. Anyway, namhlanje masithele nosisi who is known for many things in this ecosystem of building personal branding. When you speak about personal development, you understand. So I'm just gonna give her the moment to speak to us and tell us, Mbali, where do you come from? Why are you even called Mbali? What does Mbali mean?
Amazing. So igama lam Mbali Enhle Jonas, and intombi yaseCowa who grew up in Cape Town. Yes. So Dumase Batawe. And I'm really rooted in my culture and who I am and where I come from, because I believe that it gives one a sense of direction in terms of where they are going. And so that's why I always because I'm very proud of coming from a beautiful hometown like that. So Ikamalam, actually my parents, when they narrate the story to me, is that utata wami wayefonandi begozenande because I'm the second born, right? And umama isithi because intombi yami yokuqala lena and izothi Mbali yami. So Mbali is a Zulu name, however manje ngumXhosa. And so on the other side of things, utata wayeyazi about why isithi uzenandi, because wayeyazi after mna kholwa zolandela. And then umama on her side, I suppose the instincts zakhe were quite strong because then she only had one girl. So I'm the rose amongst thorns. I have two brothers. And this is Hagati. So, yeah.
That's so fascinating, man, to have parents who are visionaries, and the fact that they stood to what they believed in. Like Mama said, no matter what, even though your father was like, but not knowing which gender
yes.
After that.
Yeah.
So, Mbali, how do you feel like I would love to know my upbringing, Yako. How did it shape the person that you are today? Because you have an epic story regarding your name, of how it came up and the fact that you are here today. We're still going to speak about your greatest achievements in this lifetime so far, right?
Yes.
So, like, upbringing, Yako, what did it do to you? Like, if you were growing up in a different environment, would you be here today? Would we be having this conversation? So the upbringing that you received in this lifetime, what did it do to
me?
How did it shape you?
Thank you so much for that question, actually. Yeah. So I grew up in Mitchell's Plain, which is a predominantly coloured community. And the reason why Abazalbam decided to go to Bazohlala in Mitchell's Plain is because Dala Kengoku babesakhula, right, from ezilalini xa bayebesiza phekapa kuye kuhlalwe komalanga nyanga kulethe emahholweni. So they stayed there nabazali babo ke for a short while, and then they decided to relocate to Johannesburg. Then bahlala Johannesburg, but because Johannesburg was very busy and my dad has a very chilled personality, so they wanted to move back to Cape Town, but in an area where they're not known, just to meet new people and get to know abanye abantu abatsha. So that's why then they lived in Mitchell's Plain. So that's where I grew up. So Mitchell's Plain is normally known according to the media as Cape Flats, where there's high levels of crime, gangsterism, and etc. So I'm not saying that that's all to Mitchell's Plain, but I feel like they don't perhaps share the other side of Mitchell's Plain, where there's actually like wonderful people that come out of that community despite of the violence, despite of the gangsterism. So unfortunately, gunshots or anything like that, but there were days where uve gunshots, you know what I mean? So I went to Iskolo. Another funny story. So my dad worked in town, and the first time I saw a corporate office was going to work with my dad, and I didn't even know, but I enjoyed just playing around in his office. And also like the first time I saw played with a white child was through my dad because of his colleagues, and you know what I mean. And so Dadam really wanted me to have a much more better life and education than what he had. And then but then my mom again was like, ndifuna Mbali akwazi uthetha isiXhosa, okanye rather akwazi uthetha isiXhosa, akwazi usibhala isiXhosa, asazi isiXhosa. And then guess what they did? Ndayofunda eKhayelitsha. So foundation phase grade 1, 2 and 3, I did them eKhayelitsha isikolo sesiXhosa. And then after that, I moved back to isikolo Mitchell's Plain. I went to a Hazelden primary school. I was a very active student, extrovert of note. And then after high school, I went to Mondale High School, which is one of the best schools in Mitchell's Plain, and also has a great impact on the person that I am today.
So you practice.
Afrikaans, yeah.
It seems like traveling is in your blood because your parents have been traveling from Joburg to here, and then they made you travel for schooling like Khayelitsha, Mitchell's Plain and everything, right? So as a child, like you get taught certain things in life, right? So what are some of the lessons you learned in your childhood that still influence your decision and the things that you do in life like today?
Sana, one thing I can tell you free of charge, my parents always says mazi umuntu mhloniphe umuntu and zithobe. I am so humble, and like it would be a cliche to say it myself, but it's really not. Like I am extremely humble. Umuntu ndiyamazi andimjongeli phansi umuntu. I'm able to eat with people despite of their backgrounds or wherever they come from. I am very accepting of abantu, and that's something, you know, growing up in Mitchell's Plain and also like having to travel as Lalini, Ekaya. Do you know that I'd be so involved? Like if ukuthiwa land amanzi emlanjeni, so thatha me 5 feet and I'm going amanzi emlanjeni. If ukuthiwa mhlawumbe kutyiwa emifino, I want to eat that. I want to learn. I want to explore, and that's the environment that I grew up in. And one thing about my mom, like she loves helping people, and I think also it's because of her name, because it means to heal. You can be like, I'm not gonna say her name. So her name means to heal, and what Mama would do is she'd bring a bandu endlini, and like she would help them. And that person ikhala would be their home. You know, and once they be right, then the person would go back to their normal life and, you know, do whatever they need to do. And so, as I do not want to lie, it has carried me true to this person that I am, because I'm able to get in a room and gel with everyone and speak to everyone.
But that's what I know you for. Like ever since I've met you in this lifetime, like we've been like communicating one. And the more now that I'm communicating with you, it feels like one, we had this conversation before, like maybe in the past, maybe in our past lifetime, I don't know, one, like there's this aura about you that makes you feel like, what you're saying is true. Not that one, you are just saying it for a camera.
Yes.
So I just wonder about, where did your mom get it? Like, how come did it become so you in Yoruba? Come to me.
Yes.
And you can speak to me, it's fine. It's fine.
Yes.
When you're a therapist, maybe back in the day, what's up, baby, man? Like, that's something exclusive about you, and I love it, man.
Thank you so much. Can I tell you something? And so my friends would say, if Kofi come down dal, ndiyakwazi uzibeka kwilevel yomntu omdala ndincokole nomntu omdala ndibe kwilevel yakhe ufike umntana omncinci ndibe ngumntana omncinci. I think it's my superpower. I really think it's my superpower. It's something that is in me. It's a gift from above.
No, that's amazing. When you have this superpower, there's some challenges, or certain people are going to look at you and be like, "Hi, you can be this special. I should be the one who's special, right?" So, what challenges did you face while you were growing up and trying to pursue the life that you are living today? And those challenges, what did they teach you? Maybe one or two of those challenges. What did you feel like? This was the challenge. This is what I've learned.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I remember coming back. It was a Sunday. And I went to good schools, even though they were public schools, but they were good schools. And my parents were paying quite a lot for my high school. And amongst my friends, as much as I was the youngest, but in terms of the school, I was a year ahead. So I went to high school first, before Bona. And then I was coming, it was a Sunday, Suga at Westgate Mall. And I told them, guys, because I need to focus on my studies, but also andizokwazi udlala nani anymore because xa ndifike ebusuku ekhaya ndiyashouta and andizokwazi ushouta mama. I need to focus on isikolo. And having done that, it was the most life-changing decision that I've taken for myself, because majority of them fell in the trap of teenage pregnancy, dropped out of school, and like they're struggling right now. And the challenge was that these are my friends. Now all of a sudden just because of taking that decision, but I'm going to focus on my life, and also I'm not going to go to shout. Today I'm the person that I am because of that decision. It was not an easy one. It was a very difficult one, but I knew the life that I wanted. And also my parents were telling me, but we're not wasting our money by investing in your education. So you need to do what's right for you. And removing myself from those people. And here today.
What you're saying is reminding me of something that is being said in the book that I'm reading, right? It's called The Secret. So they're saying the same thing when it comes to discipline. You need to distance yourself from distractions, and number two, to manifest whatever you want, you need to be alone sometimes, right? Just to have the clear mind and then feel the thing that you want. If you can feel the vision or whatever that you want to achieve.
Yes.
And then it's going to be quicker when you are alone and have a clear mind.
Yes.
So we also speak about meditation, reading, and when you study rich people or people who are fulfilled in life, they have something common. They read books, they meditate, and then they always they cut out distractions in life. So for Mbali, how did you find the fact that you are operating around the negative environment, right? So how do you detach yourself from these Indonesian? I mean, like, you are still young. Okay, to us, you look young, right?
Yes.
But there's certain people who are like, okay, you see maybe high sugar, or like, because of we are so negative, man, like, based on our environment, right? So, and how do you deal with negative thoughts from your end? Sometimes I feel like, I know you're because I'm always projecting my fears, or projecting my negativity. How do you overcome it?
Okay. So firstly, I meditate quite a lot. I read a lot. So this year I was having a challenge to myself of buying books. So I bought this year 7 books. I have read 4 of those books. So I'm still trying to read. The recent book that I bought was Surrounded by Idiots. But it's mainly about psychology and communication. So it's wanting to understand the people that are around you. Not that they are idiots, but it's a catchy word also to some. So that's the current book that I'm reading right now. Just to answer your question, so for me, having the opportunity, I'd say, to work on myself, to do therapy has really been rewarding and gave me I'd say, the third eye to be able to see negativity, and also when someone, as you said, is projecting. Because also, right, abantu have different experiences of Mbali. So how you treat me is definitely how I'm going to treat you. And as people, naturally, we retaliate. So abanye abantu would say Mbali is a lovely person. I've engaged with her several times. Another person would say Mbali was a great person to me. I don't know what happened. Omnye umuntu angavele athi mhlambi Mbali is a great person, okanye athi Mbali no, she's mean, she's rude, akanasimilo, but forgetting what mhlambi they've done to me, because you retaliate and you respond at times to what is being presented to you, because also we need to guard ourselves and our environment, and not allow people to I don't want to use to take advantage of us. Yeah, that's the word that I'm looking for. Yeah, so how I deal with negativity, I mean, at times if I feel like I need to break down, but can I tell you something about the mind? And this is something that I'm teaching myself. We tend to hold on a lot to negative thoughts, but forget about the positive that we hear daily. So if namhlanje Mr. Loft uthe you asanxiba ngakabi, whereas okondi ngcono imini yonke uzohlala la nto ka Mr. Loft ba asanxiba, but why? So I'm trying to rewire how I'm thinking, to focus on the negative. I mean, to focus on the positives, because surely they outweigh the negatives. Yeah.
Nah. Yes, what you're saying reminds me of a line that says, I think the mind is like the dumbest muscle in your brain, like in your body, right? Because it believes whatever. Like like yo, I don't know, man. I think it's Kalyam. Yeah, I think it's Kalyam who speaks about the mind that it's so dumb, man. Like man, I don't know how to put it, but I've done some personal development stuff back in the day. So somebody, when you speak about reading, it reminds me of education, right? And you spoke about good schools that you attended. So based on the education that you received on these good schools, right? How did they impact the way that you live in or maybe how you perceive about it? Because if I went to school in Akupimali, there's no school fees, I might have a different mindset from who was paying thousands at the school, right? And then we know you're gonna get connections back for what you've done, and then the language was gonna be sharper. Like the one you attended the school is free. And then at the same time, on that end, you are more encouraged to fetch your life, to go pursue things in life, right? Whereas the majority of thugs come from school, and then you always end up at understand? So when you school, how did that shape you? Like if you were a younger partner, that's my question. If you were not living that good life, were you gonna be this person? Like I'm trying to find out, is our environment the problem, or is it our mindset?
Our mindset.
You had achieved so much, man. I know you personally, right? So the fact that you were privileged enough to be there, and then I was privileged enough to study upper schools and yet is also another privilege.
Yes.
So
I think it goes back to it definitely goes back to that, because remember but it was also a decision that I had to make. But what is the kind of life do I want for myself? So environment, also peer pressure. Young people need not to succumb to peer pressure, because remember I just because if ndandikhethe uhlala nazo abazali bam ngebelila bethandaza beguqa ngedolo besithi sicela uMbali atshintshe kwezi ndlela zihambayo, and I didn't want to be that to my parents. I didn't. Kunana ngoku andifuni into umuntu athandaza ngam ekhala ndim. So I suppose into 17, really into 17, you need to have blinkers at time. I feel like if you just have blinkers, focus on the goal at hand. What do you want for your life? As Mr. Loft, like what do you want for yourself? Do you want a banana bakulele up? You understand? That's all. So what are you going to do about that? It's that like what you're going to do. Like I told myself that my kids are not going to grow up in Vicious Lane. And it's very imperative for me to take myself out of there. And I did.
Yeah.
So it's just about you. What do you want for your life?
Yeah. It seems like there's a lot of failure from we surrounding here too, and influences that we get, right? So you went to school, you went to varsity, right? So on all the lessons that you learned from school and the subject you did, you feel like, oh, what's that thing or few things you feel like they should be taught in school because we are in need of them as the people who are attending this school, but they are not provided by okay, just to open the mind like let's just say a school when they are not teaching entrepreneurship today.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Whereas we know for the government to get more money, to get more tax from people need to open up businesses, right? And then as to take someone even more, but that's not looked upon.
Yes.
So what are some of the things in high school and you feel like these ones? Yeah, man.
So I am very huge on South African history in terms of like where we come from, right? And as someone who is a Pan-Africanist as well. One of my favorite books being I Write What I Like by Steve Biko. So we don't learn a lot about, the past regresses, right, that have happened to African people. Also linking that to maybe African spirituality. We sing a lot that abantu, at least they're being acceptive of their callings, etc. But we need to also unpack that, perhaps maybe on an educational level, because schools have accepted Christianity. But what about, African spirituality? We love the fact that but there's more to it. There's more to it than that. So for me, South African history, particularly when it focuses around African people, we need a lot about that, because namhlanje, where we're finding we're still having a lot of injustices is because those things have not been addressed. Because, when you're at school, it just focuses on apartheid. We learn about German Nazis, but there's a lot that happened also in terms of like a war against Amaxhosa. Not much is speaken about that. Recently, I've been so interested in finding out about Amaxhosa. Who am I as Mbali? Beyond my clan name, but what's the problem? Because I'm seeing there's something missing with Amaxhosa, us as a nation. And so I'm leaning towards that a lot. So zizinto ezibesinozifunda about esikolweni, also for us to know ourselves, because we are such a beautiful, diverse country, but there are things as in Mandebele that I don't know about. We asazani as this nation. So I feel like there's a lot more that the education department can invest in making sure that we really have a rich history, but also addressing the past injustices that we are seeing are still perpetuating currently.
If you had to identify yourself as a queen, like a Xhosa queen, who would you be? Like, back in the day, if I was living back then, like, do you have someone in mind?
And the saddest thing is that I don't know anyone. So that's the sad thing about it. That is the sad thing about it, because then this also speaks to patriarchy. Because Anditi kings are put on a pedestal, but what about their queens? So I'm on that journey of really just finding things out, learning by eating, like what's going on. Because I feel like I don't know who I am if I don't know kings and queens of this course. Also, I don't know like what had happened, because we hear a lot about Mbali and of which recently I've had to learn, but the narrative that we have been fed is actually not the correct one, but perhaps it's not for this discussion. So on the quest that I'm on, I am learning and unlearning and discovering new things as well. So I don't have a queen to reference, and that's very sad.
That's very sad.
Extremely.
Extremely sad. No? So while you speak about spirituality, I just want to know, how has it helped you? Like, do you see it working? The fact that you are curious to learn about it, like, do you see the power of it? Or is it something you feel like, just because when you are trying to find yourself, it's something you want for others, but you haven't witnessed its power. So I just want to know, if you witnessed its power, how can you describe that power? Like, is it a need for me to go and be like, I need to focus here if I want to be great, lofty, if you want to achieve success, this is where you go. Like, little child out there, if you are so lost, your parents are drinking, you don't have a direction, this is what you need to do. Like, is it that powerful that it can shape who I am today because of you had witnessed it, or what?
I think that's a very important question, right? Spirituality is within you. It's not something that you have to find. It's not something that you need to go out and look for. But it's something that once you have discovered that it's within you, how do you harness it? How do you shape it? Right? Because we sleep and we have dreams. As Hossein, we say that it's called tonga. Right? So there are some dreams where you can be able to translate. There are some that you are unable to translate to people. And also dreams are messages, right? So what does that mean? Where do they lead me? What should I do? So one of the interest then starts kind of picking up itself, and Manditike, based on those messages that you're getting, one would then be able to see Abonba, it exists and it works.
Because Mbali, the more we speak, I feel like we've been told that the more you believe in spirituality and ancestors, your path will be greener, everything will be like smooth sailing, right? So you are here today, you showed me a vision board which inspired me, right? So these are the things that we spoke about behind the scenes, like before we even shot this. So I would love to know, man, like, you said you have money, what was your first job? And how was it working on your first job? Because now that you have money, maybe it's the first job that you received, maybe that you got that made you have this much money. I don't know, but she doesn't have money. That's
we were manifesting for me to have money. And the reason why I told you that is like, whenever I go, no man, and I'm like, kilo man. Like, kilo man.
So I don't want them to say, they start to be poor when they are around just because of they are seeing what I'm saying.
Yes.
Disclaimer.
We don't. We're still in the works in progress. So my first job was, I did an in-service training at a law firm. And so there was a retail, so because I was part of the top students, right? Also in service training, you kind of got preference based on your marks and you were placed at good jobs. So the retail one was highest paying at the time, which was 5,000. And then my lecturer was like, Jonas, I'm gonna make sure now for money, right? So the law firm that I was working at, I was earning 4,000. Back then it was a lot of money. Like, it was a lot of money. To such a point where my parents didn't even give me my local pass or anything. Like, I was contributing a kaya, and I was like, okay, they're cool and walk. It was a great feeling, I won't lie. I'm buying myself a Zindo, so that was my first paycheck way back in the days.
Mbali. How lucky are you, man? Like, what did you start with the fact that you went and got your first 5,000, man? Like, I never. Could you? 5,000.
So I studied marketing, and marketing actually I studied by accident. Now I believe it's something that found me, and we just aligned. So I studied marketing, and I excelled in it. I loved it, and also what I love about marketing is also the psychology part, which I think that's where this journey of healing, or not really healing, but of, I suppose, healing also, like health started. Because when you're selling something, you need to know what happens in the mind and how do you package this product to perceive customers and make them buy it.
Our language, yeah. Business, yeah.
So consumer behavior, consumer psychology.
Yeah.
So that's one module that I really love, to such a point where in my degree year I was a teaching assistant and I taught the subject for a whole semester.
Wow.
Yeah, I was studying and working, getting paid by the institution. Yeah.
Was that your biggest turning point in your career?
In terms of my academic career, that was very big. That it was massive because I was the youngest teaching assistant and also not having a degree because I was still studying towards a degree.
Now you have a degree.
I have an honors degree, so.
Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, okay, so you have this degree today, right? Like it's not only a degree as you said, right? So there's certain people out there who love to be where you are when it comes to education. So what's your message to someone who would love to study and get to where you are today? Because you know there's challenges, man, at home. Such as after high school you need to also fit the home, and then things like that, man. Like I feel for those smart people who can't further their studies because of the situation at home. So just maybe your message to them, right?
I would say keep your eyes on the prize. Challenges will always be there. Like challenges will always, like even I remember when I was studying and I was in my first year, I was having the most biggest challenge I felt at the time of my life. And it affected my academic performance, right? In terms of, because I remember at the time, I was part of the top 10, I was number 4, and then there towards the end of the year, right? Because of the challenges that I was having. So the challenges will always be there, but keep your eyes on the prize. If you need to seek support, please seek support and speak to people. It could be a friend, it could be a loved one, but trust whatever challenge or go they were able to support you. And also if you need to study part-time. Study part-time, sebenze at the same time, just to balance the two and make sure and with having to do that, you'll have to unfortunately sacrifice your weekends because if you know, so you need to develop tools around you that will be able to assist you just to get that goal that you want. It's not easy because I mean, but you have challenges in if when you laugh, so you know, which speaks to also like interventions on a higher learning level where there needs to be like food programs, you know what I mean, to support that. And sometimes so you know that there's a lot, but you need to have like a circle around you, people that can really support you and hold you down, because it's not easy.
Yes, it's not easy, especially 2024. Like, we've seen flames, man, even in business. And you know, we've been having these conversations.
Offline.
Offline. So for a number, like, I don't know which spirit you praise, but I can say it's working because dang, you're doing so much. You even have a podcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us more about your podcast.
Right? Okay, I'll take it back. So I'm doing grade 10, and there is presenters of this other radio station that I will mention. Basically speaking with my friend, and this gentleman comes to me and says, "Lady, you have a brilliant voice. You should use it for radio. Don't you want to come on studio on Saturday just to speak to us about your schooling career and everything?" And I was like, "What, me?" He was like, "Yep." And can I tell you what? When we do oral presentations, I used to volunteer. But you know why? Because that like, and I'm like, I'm every day. I'm just gonna stand in front of the class and do my oral presentation. You know, so but in a good way. So that's the first time I heard that my radio is good for voice. I mean, for my voice is good for radio. Then varsity happened. First thing I did, I auditioned for radio. I got the gig. Then I did radio. Then 2020, I did your YouTube channel. But also when I was doing the YouTube channel, I didn't have a vision. I didn't know why I was doing it. I was doing it because it was trendy at the time. And I was like, I don't want to show people my life. What is the purpose behind this? What are people going to take home? For me, there always needs to be a take-home message. Then I was like, let me do podcasting, which is going to be audio. So Decoding Thy Life with Mbali Jonas speaks to deconstructing our lives and making sure that we build sustainable coping mechanisms to our challenges. I've been through a lot in my life, and I am happy today that there are women and also men in the podcasting space where we could learn things or two from them. But I also felt that my voice is important, and also because in my profession I do a lot of communication. So why don't I fulfill all the blessings and the gifts that I have from those above and utilize them in my lifetime? So I felt like, let me do this podcast. It is fitting. I do have a purpose. I want to change people's lives, people that are like me, people who have different backgrounds but need to know a bit more about my experiences and how I've been able to deal with them and overcome them, essentially.
That's great, man. I feel like you are underselling yourself now, because I know there's a top 500 something.
Yes. So let me. Thank you so much for that. Another thing about me, like, I'm way too humble. Way too humble. So the first month of the podcast, we get the results, and I'm marketing it and I'm pushing it, and then we get the results. And so on Apple in South Africa, I was under the category of education. I was number 102, which has been amazing. And then on the category of self-improvement, I was number 76 in the country. And we're just starting. So that was for me. I was like, okay, this is my purpose. This is really why I'm doing this. I'm touching people's lives.
Look at the Kosa Queen. We're gonna write books and say the Queen of Kosa was Mbali, because we don't have a reference, right? We don't even know Fekane. Because Tunko's Fekane, Fekane, and Kosho. And this was becoming. Man, like, hey, Mbali. Like, I'm just here to celebrate you, number one, right? Because this is Underdogs Spotify. We just look for a band when we are doing great things in the township, but they are not known, especially that you are doing communication. You are on the top list, like on Spotify, right? And then we don't know you. So this is the platform to celebrate people like you, right? So on my end, and I feel like we should celebrate people like you more, I understand. So this is your first time on our show, so the next time, don't you worry, there's gonna be
I can't wait.
Because I'm manifest. There's something coming up. Understand? So now I'm trying to run around and like feeling and you see, guys, I was in that. Wow, I see today different image. So I'm trying to
match.
To match this. So, but on your end, man, like, what do you feel like one is what you approach for in this life? Like, why are you here?
I think the reason why Mbali Jonas is here on this earth is to be of impact and make change in whatever shape or form that might look like. But it's using my voice to harness that change that I want to see around me. And
okay, so I think on my end, I have most of the things that are.
I guess I like cut. Hello. Asazi yabo zezinto.
This is scammers. Yeah, so Malama end, yeah, I think the prep is done. Just have to say thank you, but I think there was something you wanted to us to speak about. Yeah, Kosho, question this is Shaiseta. And Libere, I prep I'm just following the prep. Kosho was no
I'm sorry.
I know, sorry.
Did you mention the future night?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I don't know.
I don't say good, but yeah,
it could be the good.
Yeah, when I go see the color break, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I learned. So it was I'm not gonna watch it walk.
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna take a month for me to watch it.
Is it?
At least to. I can't. If I was Tandi, don't even. Mr. Wangs? Yeah. Lalo ka forever wena okanye lekabhekisisa. Yiba sunshiya. Oh, so ufuna kanjani mina nebag napha? Zane purse yami khali, izane handbag yami. Thatha handbag. So dibanezansi.